You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into a really charming story. It's called Bubblegum Breeze and the Flying Towels.
Ooh.
On the surface, yeah, maybe it seems like just a fun kid's tale, but we think there's actually some, really insightful stuff hidden in there about how we deal with surprises in life.
Okay.
All right, let's unpack this. Our mission today is to really dig into this whimsical narrative, pull out the wisdom, and figure out how we can turn those unexpected gusts of wind in our own lives into something, well, joyful and creative. You'll see how even everyday things can get pretty extraordinary with a fresh look.
Yeah, it's a great source for that. And what's fascinating here, I think, is how often we do face these kinds of unexpected moments. Could be anything, right? Sudden change in plans, maybe some news that just throws you off balance. So this deep dive, it's really about exploring how these characters handle something totally surprising and what that tells us about our own reactions, our resilience, and maybe even our ability to innovate.
Okay, so let's set the scene first. Imagine this, like perfectly normal day at Sandy Shores Beach. Totally typical. You got the umbrellas, the waves crashing, seagulls probably trying to steal snacks, the drill. Everything is predictable, maybe even a bit mundane, just comfortable. That comfort, that baseline of normal, that's really important for what happens next.
Oh, absolutely critical. Because if you think about it from a psychological perspective, our brains kind of love predictability. We set up routines, systems, expectations. It just makes things easier, less taxing cognitively. So the story sets up this baseline, this normalcy really effectively, which makes the disruption when it comes feel so much bigger, more impactful. And it kind of begs the question, doesn't it? How often do we get so settled in our ways that we maybe miss the signs, the subtle ones, or maybe even the not so subtle ones, that something new is coming? Are we always sort of waiting for the big alarm bell before we really pay attention to change?
Right, because that's exactly when the alarm bell rings in this story. That normalcy just shatters. A gust of wind comes along, but not just any wind. The story says it was unlike any other. It wasn't salty, it wasn't sandy. This wind smelled sweet, exactly like bubblegum. And it didn't just sneak in, it made an entrance. A giant pop-whoooosh! This bubblegum breeze just swirls across the whole beach. It's immediate, you can't ignore it.
Exactly. That sensory detail, the smell, the sound, it's so vivid. It's the story's signal that things have fundamentally changed. In cognitive terms, it's a powerful alert. It forces you to pay attention, pulls you out of your routine. When something that novel hits us, it kind of bypasses our usual mental filters. It demands a response. And that's such a great metaphor, isn't it? For those times in our lives, maybe at work or personally, when some new, strong, surprising element just changes the whole atmosphere, completely challenges what we thought was normal for that day or that project. It's not subtle. It's a force you have to reckon with.
And reckon they did. Because with that pop-whoosh, everything changed visually, too. Kids' beach towels didn't just, flap around a bit. They leapt into the air. The story says they were flying like colorful birds. I mean, wow. It sounds almost surreal. Striped towels diving like dolphins, polka-dot ones twirling. There was even a super long one trying to tie itself into a bow. It really taps into that feeling of losing control, doesn't it? What's actually going on inside us at a moment like that?
Well, yeah, that's your primal brain kicking in, right? The fight or flight response. Doesn't matter if it's your project going sideways or, your assumptions being totally upended by new data. That feeling of, oh no, our towels are flying away. It's deeply wired. And what's interesting is how immediate that reaction is, losing control. Our first instinct is often worry, maybe even fear. We grasp for what's familiar, what we can control, even with something small like a beach towel, because it represents, comfort, stability, our little patch of order.
And the story shows that panic so clearly. Bella the bunny, right? Our towels are flying away, hopping after a carousel, or that little turtle kid clinging on as his towel lifts him over the snack shack like a kite. Poor guy. Even the lifeguard's the whistle towel zooms off, tooting every time it flaps. It's chaos. It's this complete discombobulation. It disrupts their whole sense of order.
It really does. And you can probably relate, right? Think about your own experiences. A project takes a totally unexpected turn. Some key piece of information changes everything you thought you knew. That gut feeling, my towels are flying away, it's universal.
Yeah.
It's that first moment of helplessness where your predictable world suddenly feels, well, unpredictable. And the first reaction is often just trying to get things back, to chase after what you lost. Cognitively, it's a stressful moment, high load. Your mental map of the situation just doesn't work anymore. The story nails that initial, almost instinctive reaction before any deeper thinking can happen.
But then comes the shift. Right in the middle of all that chaos, that frantic towel chasing, we get clever Sammy the squirrel, and he notices something profound. He sees it's not just random chaos, it's not just loss. Sammy observes, and he realizes the towels, they're playing. The breeze didn't just steal them, it gave them a chance to, dance. This is the real turning point, isn't it? It's all about perspective.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic example of what psychologists call cognitive reframing. It's a really powerful tool. Sammy doesn't fight it. He doesn't chase with frustration. He stops, he watches, he sees the new dynamic. And then this is the crucial bit he reframes it, from problem to play. It's not about ignoring that things got disrupted. It's about actively looking for a different pattern, a potential within the new situation. That's the core difference, really, between a fixed mindset, seeing only the obstacle, the loss, and a growth mindset, which looks for possibility and adapts. Sammy's showing us a kind of, adaptive leadership, but in a playful way, seeing potential in chaos.
And when Sammy reframes it, the whole vibe changes instantly. He whistles a tune. Suddenly, the towels aren't chaotic anymore. They're swirling in circles, doing this midair beach ballet. And the panic, gone, just like that. The kids see this new dance, this reframe situation, and they laugh, they cheer. They start joining in, running, jumping, trying to catch rides on their towels. It becomes the first ever beach towel air show. Flips, spins, wow. It ends with everyone wrapped up, snug and sandy. Total transformation from disaster to joy.
It's such a powerful illustration. Laughter, creativity, they really can turn worry into wonder. By embracing the unexpected, by letting themselves see ordinary towels in this new magical light, the kids turned what could have been a ruined day into this amazing shared experience. And this isn't just about towels, of course. It's about our own capacity as humans to adapt and innovate when things get, blown off course. In business, people talk about serendipity by design, creating conditions where unexpected things aren't just problems, but sparks for something new. Sammy's insight, his reframing, it creates this positive ripple effect. It shifts the whole group from panic to play.
And the effect lasted, too. When the Bubblegum Breeze finally floated off, the towels just flopped back down. Sticky, sure, but safe. No real harm done. But the real impact wasn't the sticky towels. It was the memory, the experience. From then on, every summer, the kids waited for that breeze, hoped for it. It turned into this special tradition. A weird event became an anticipated joy. So, okay, pulling it all together, what's the practical takeaway here? What's the framework this little story gives us?
Well, it actually lays out a pretty clear sort of three-step process for dealing with disruption. We can call it the observe, reframe, engage model. First, observe. Like Sammy did. You have to pause, maybe take a breath, and just look at what's actually happening. Try to see it without that immediate layer of fear or frustration. Just gather the data. Second, reframe. This is the conscious shift. Ask yourself, okay, this isn't what I expected, but what is possible now? Is there a hidden opportunity, a new pattern, even just a way to find some playfulness in it? This needs cognitive flexibility. And third, engage. Don't just stand there watching. Actively join the new reality. Engage creatively. How can you use this disruption as a launchpad for something new? New actions, new solutions, maybe just a new way of interacting, like the kids turning it into an air show.
Observe, reframe, engage. I like that. It moves you from feeling like a victim of the circumstance to being an active player in what happens next. And the story itself gives us those clear lessons, right? How to turn surprises into fun. That laughter and creativity really can shift worry to wonder. And just the simple joy of seeing everyday things, towels, in a new, kind of magical way. It's really about building that psychological flexibility, isn't it? Being able to adapt, stay present, and act according to your values even when things get uncomfortable or weird.
Exactly. Psychological flexibility is key. The story really hammers home that core message. Life will blow you off course sometimes. But if you can bring imagination, maybe a little laughter, you can learn to ride that breeze, maybe even fly with it. It's about seeing those unexpected moments not just as problems, but as potential springboards. So yeah, it's a charming story, but it's also a really useful parable for, navigating an unpredictable world. Control isn't always about stopping the wind. Sometimes it's about adjusting your sails or your towels.
So for everyone listening, next time you feel that unexpected gust of wind in your own life, could be a challenge at work, a sudden change of plans, maybe just some surprising news. Ask yourself, am I stuck in that initial panic? Or am I looking for how my towels might be able to fly? How can you use that observe, reframe, engage idea? How can you bring a little bit of that bubblegum breeze creativity into it and maybe turn something ordinary or even disruptive into something potentially extraordinary?
Yeah, and maybe that leads to a final question for you to think about after this. What's an ordinary thing in your life right now? Could be at work, could be personal, something routine, maybe even boring or stuck. What might happen if an unexpected breeze, a disruption, or even just a deliberate shift in how you look at it hit that thing? Could that ordinary thing have some hidden potential? Could it take flight in a new way, a more engaging way, maybe even a more joyful way? Something to ponder. Keep an eye out for those sweet, unexpected gusts. And remember Sandy Shores.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.